Hello, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to say welcome to our CNBS enosiX webinar. This is being recorded and will be available after the session on our website, and we are also making them available on YouTube. I have set up the system that you're automatically on mute until the Q&A session. I have had some exceptions to that, so if you wouldn't mind muting yourself, I would appreciate that. We have approximately 25 people scheduled today, and I want to say thank you for taking the time. My name is Chuck Stahl. I'm president of CNBS, and a little bit later, I will be introducing Charles Evans, who is the Chief Technology Officer of enosiX. We're excited to bring this new technology to you today. A little bit about the flow is I will talk briefly about the products, a little bit about the company, and then Charles will pick it up to go into a little more in-depth conversation about the products themselves. We'll have a brief demo, and then he'll talk a little bit about the implementation roadmap, and then we'll have a Q&A session. Just a little bit about CNBS. Our focus is on next-generation SAP add-on software. So we recognize over the last 20 years that ERP has been implemented in many companies. The focus has been on back office and efficiency. Well, now companies are shifting from the back office and efficiency to more on connecting other components to their solutions to kind of round out their business solutions and to solve business problems. So that's where our focus is. It's right here, how to get the most out of your SAP systems investment. As you can see from our logo, we are a specialist in e-commerce and web AR. Those are a couple of other webinars that we've had in the past. So we like to help companies build revenue online as well as move some of their business-to-business revenue from manual and other processes to online. We also have our web AR product, which is connecting your customers electronically into your system, so that allows them to more easily pay and increase your cash flow, reduce your day sales outstanding, etc. And what today's topic is all about is mobility solutions and integration. So we focus on products that are high value, high rate of return, rapid implementation periods. They all have direct access to ECC data. So this is real-time access to ECC data. There's no data syncing. There's no additional hardware required, and it's built on SAP NetWeaver. As I mentioned before, we have a couple of other products. enosiX is our third product in our portfolio. We have had previous webinars. Our web AR webinar was on July 8th, and our WECO e-commerce was on July 22nd. Those are both available online if you're interested at our website, which is cnbssoftware.com. And of course, we're having our enosiX webinar today. enosiX in a nutshell, and I like this slide because there are three messages I want to provide here, and then we'll elaborate on those. Mobility. So it's a tool that allows you to easily generate mobility apps linking to SAP. Usability. So it's a tool that allows you to more easily utilize the system that you have. And then integration. It's a tool that easily allows you to integrate into, say, your SAP back office. I've had many customers say to me, Chuck, I have this ERP system or I have the SAP system and it's in this ERP box and I have trouble getting access to data in it or trouble connecting up systems to it. So that's why we're excited today to introduce enosiX to you and talk a little bit more about it. So a little bit of background. enosiX is a software firm based in Cincinnati, Ohio. It is the first to market what we're calling an SAP certified framework. Again, that allows you to connect and access SAP data. There's an endless variety of uses that you will see as we go on in the presentation. We've had a concept of how this product can be used in the marketplace, and through conversations with our prospects and customers, there are endless ways that we can use this technology. They've come up with ways that we hadn't even thought of or dreamed of yet, and so we're seeing more and more use case scenarios. Today you'll see that the primary way of accessing and utilizing the framework is through Microsoft.NET. And so you literally could have .NET developers developing applications utilizing SAP on the back end. And then we're trying to make things faster and more affordable. So you'll see that this is a tool that you can use to deliver solutions in a matter of days as opposed to months and years. And of course, our focus always is delivering value. And what we're trying to do here is to deliver timely value. So make it as efficient as possible and to get the value in the hands of our customers as quickly as possible. And so I mentioned a little bit about what the tool was intended to do. We're really trying to simplify access to data. We've been working with Gartner, and Gartner has indicated that today 70% of the cost of running applications is wrapped up in integration. And so we're trying to take that integration component and, again, make it as easy as possible, make it as seamless and speedy as possible to generate value from it. So we're calling it a next-generation intelligent integration. The framework vision is to be system agnostic. So what you'll see today is a strong connection to SAP. In the future, that will branch out beyond that. And as I mentioned before, this is an agile, rapid front-end and back-end integration piece that we think is missing in the marketplace today. So it'll enable you to modernize your, essentially, platforms with this intelligent integration. So with that as a quick backdrop, I want to introduce Charles Evans, who is the enosiX Chief Technology Officer who has joined us today. And Charles is going to take over from here. He's going to, again, talk a little more in depth about the product so that you have a good understanding. And then he's going to take us through some demonstrations as well as then talk a little bit about implementation. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Charles.
So good morning and afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Evans. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at enosiX, and I'm really excited to share an overview of our technology today. As Chuck was mentioning, enosiX provides the capabilities for .NET developers to easily connect to SAP without the need for a lot of SAP expertise. The .NET platform allows us to build apps targeted at multiple platforms, such as iOS, Android, Windows, SharePoint, and the web. Leveraging Xamarin on top of .NET, projects can be built with the majority of code being cross-platform, enabling iOS, Android, and Windows apps to be built quickly and provide flexibility to suit your bring-your-own-device policies. .NET is a very open language and provides the capabilities for other SAP-connected solutions as well, such as integration with third-party systems. And I'll take you through a couple of those examples in the slides that follow. So a proper mobile strategy is important to making the life of the remote workers and road warriors more productive. We can take normal paper processes, such as time entry, CRM functions, and service activities, and provide an offline, online option to reduce processing time and eliminate those errors associated with rekeying data from paper forms. enosiX, however, doesn't stop there. We can utilize our technology to build out any integration requirement for SAP. We have successfully used the enosiX framework to build out a number of solutions that target non-mobile devices as well. So one of the newest solutions we've built is phone payment integration. Not something that we thought was pretty big in the market, but one of our customers came to us with the need, and we saw a great fit for the enosiX framework to meet the requirements of that problem. So with our framework, we provided simplified access to the IVR system that leverage standard communication protocols. We've also integrated with third-party systems such as Salesforce and SharePoint to give direct access to SAP data. There are a lot of customer service personnel that are mainly in Salesforce but often need to jump out to SAP to check the order status or quantity and help with orders, and the same with SharePoint. What we've provided with our technology is giving the user a single user interface to be able to access multiple systems, which obviously increases efficiency drastically. We have over 100 customers globally utilizing the framework today, so we have seen a lot of different use cases. And as we see these different use cases emerge, we're putting together packages of common solutions to help accelerate development in these areas even further. So within the next month or so, we will be releasing a set of packaged apps that are going to assist with things like approvals, expense entry, and timesheet entry. Those are very common things that companies want to mobilize. They make a lot of sense in the mobile world. And what we want to do is we want to provide basic templates that can be used to test out the functionality and the technology within your systems, but also provide a starting point, a base where we can customize that application to your specific needs. We're an extension of your existing SAP platform and investment. So what you'll see in the next few slides, we'll discuss how there is no need for middleware or hardware with our solution. And we're a solution that is certified by SAP and is actually now recently available on the SAP store. The SAP certification, for anyone who's gone through that process, it's very rigorous. SAP ensures that installing our framework and code does not interfere with any of your existing configuration and setup. So there's a comfort factor there that you know when you're installing our framework onto your system, whether it be in production or whether it be in sandbox for a showcase, you can feel confident that we're not going to overwrite or jeopardize the existing systems that you have today. We are completely in our own development namespace, and in that way can't affect your existing config. So there are a number of features that increase the time to value for the business. The Smart Business Object Library, the SBO library, is the one reason that we can be so quick in development of these solutions. As Chuck was saying, within days and weeks rather than months and years, which is typical of a standard waterfall SAP development project. The library that we have is a number of these smart business objects that are going to cover different functional areas inside of SAP. So when you start looking at building an integration scenario or a mobile app or a web app, we can start plugging and playing these existing smart business objects without having to rewrite from scratch, without having to involve a lot of your SAP staff to be able to help provide those APIs. The framework is installed directly into the SAP ECC system, which means that there is no need for additional infrastructure or hardware or specialized trained personnel to be able to set up and install that middleware. Unlike solutions such as SMP, SAP's mobile platform, we go directly into your system. We leverage a lot of the SAP infrastructure to allow you to scale with regards to load balancing and all of those features. The SAP knowledge is provided within our smart business objects. We provide this translation layer which enables standard .NET developers to get up and running very quickly in the framework and being able to access and manipulate your SAP data in a very safe and secure manner. The technology is built on pretty flexible platforms. We have .NET in the front end and SAP in the back end, and this gives us the flexibility to build anything you want in the front end, but also to make sure that the smart business objects work for your specific SAP configuration. And that's important. The design was key because we fully understand that everyone customizes their SAP system. The smart business objects that we deploy are 80-90% ready for vanilla SAP systems, and we use a very strong design to allow users to be able to extend those. And I'll talk about those in the next slide. We provide both online and offline communication depending on your need. Online communication eliminates the need for data duplication as well as batch processing, and offline capabilities provides an intelligent synchronization mechanism that will push the data to SAP, refresh it on the mobile device when they connect it to the network again. Leveraging .NET resources for front-end development is not only cheaper, but it also allows the SAP resources within your organization to work on more strategic tasks instead of helping build these APIs for every single mobile initiative that comes up. So what makes a smart business object? I've talked about smart business object a number of times in the previous slides. Let's take a look at exactly what one of these is made up of. In other integration and development scenarios, there are a lot of additional steps the developers, both SAP and front end, need to perform to provide a robust solution. What enosiX does is takes those additional steps and incorporates them directly into the smart business object, removing the need for that extra work for each integration or application development project. To help with the normal SAP knowledge requirements, enosiX not only translates fields to developer-readable properties. As we all know, SAP loves German abbreviated field names. It not only does that, but it also simplifies the complex structures that are normally associated with the standard SAP APIs. So those are the BAPIs and RFCs that are typically used in integration, and that's where the SAP knowledge is really required. enosiX takes that out of the equation by providing this abstraction layer as a smart business object to help non-SAP developers efficiently communicate with SAP. We also provide support for concurrency and give the ability to lock and unlock records to ensure data integrity regardless of where the data is being modified. So whether the data is modified in the SAP GUI, through a Fiori app, through some other integration mechanism, we can ensure your data integrity by putting those locks on the records when the user is making changes. Already said, our smart business objects are written in the native SAP development language, ABAP. This gives us the ability to tweak these objects to suit the customer or the application need. And I'll talk about the customization as the last point in this slide. And again, we fully understand the semi-connected nature of mobile applications on phones, tablets, and wearables, and provide an offline capability with that intelligent synchronization mechanism I was talking about earlier. So talking about the final layer of this object, where we have things like customized code, OO inheritance, this is really talking to the point that we understand SAP systems are customized. We understand that the smart business objects are only going to cover maybe 80 to 90% of your requirements. We use strong object-oriented principles that allow the customization of these objects as an extension of the base code. This means that the core business object logic is kept intact while customizations can be performed in their own customer namespace as an extension rather than a modification. Why is that important? That's important because if we add additional functionality into our base objects, you can upgrade to those and your customizations will still exist. Also on that note, any user exits and bodies that may be in place within your organizations will still be executed through our smart business objects. We're definitely going through the same business logic layer, which means that you don't have to rework or re-implement any of those customizations when you move to the enosiX framework. So smart business objects are not only limited to .NET, and they're not only limited to mobile applications. That's a strong push that we have today. There's a large need for mobile applications in the market, but we're also seeing other use cases that could benefit from the simplified API into SAP for non-SAP developers. We do provide a feature-rich .NET API to simplify the development in .NET. However, we can expose those same capabilities to SAP developers as well as third-party systems such as Salesforce.com, Microsoft Dynamics, phone IVRs, and many more. SAP developers can also leverage the power of the smart business object. Think when SAP developers do new projects, they're probably going to start looking at the BAPIs or RFCs that exist, the existing code, and start wrapping those and start making them usable in other projects. In those, they may reinvent the wheel multiple times to add things like additional authorizations, locking and unlocking and all of those things. With the Smart Business Objects, they can access all that functionality through the Smart Business Object API. So we could use that to accelerate development for the ABAP developer as well. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take you through two very short videos that are going to demonstrate some of the applications that have been built using the enosiX framework. The first one is enosiX Smart Sales, which is a CRM application developed on the iPad and Windows 8 frameworks. And then we also have the purchase order approval, which is a very small application, but really shows you that we could get an approval process in the hands of your mobile users within days. Your business users can validate that, and then we can start adding the extensions and customizations for your specific organization and for your specific needs. So let's kick it off with Smart Sales. So this is the Smart Sales solution, and we fully understand that information oversight for sales staff is vital, especially if that staff is always on the road. What we've developed is this Windows 8 and iPad solution that gives that salesperson access to the data even when they're out visiting clients. The solution provides a 360-degree view of the data using these smart business objects. So we have real-time connectivity, offline connectivity, and give the users access to all the data as they would have on their desks. It will only bring in the data relevant for that user, which means that we're not bringing down all the customers, all the activities, all the tasks. When that user logs in, the framework is intelligent enough to go, all right, this is my sales territory. I'm only going to bring down these customers and the tasks and contacts associated with them. So it's leveraging a lot of the capabilities of the framework. And one of the other great features is if you have an application on the framework that's delivered to different form factors, for example, an iPad or an iPhone, you can optimize the communication between those two devices. There's no coding involved. It means that when you're in an iPad mode and you've got the screen real estate and seeing all those fields, SAP will send you all that data. However, when you get on the iPhone app and you're only seeing a subset of those fields, the framework can turn around and reduce what data is sent over the wire, which makes things quicker and more efficient for the end user. So moving on to the purchase order approval app. This is a very basic application. And as I said, it's really for a starting point. Now, what you see here is we've bypassed the login screen, but we have full login capabilities to SAP that utilize the user's SAP username and password. That's very important because all of the password policies in place, all the security that you've invested time and money setting up is still respected and leveraged while using the enosiX framework. We're not duplicating user accounts. And the other great thing is we check the authorizations that have been assigned to that user. So if our Smart Business Object accesses data, it's still going through all the SAP security checks. So you can ensure that the security that you've set up will still be respected. So what we're looking at is I've logged in and I can see all the purchase orders that I'm responsible for approving. There are a number of filter capabilities there. There are a number of sorting capabilities. And what I can do is I can scroll through them. I can click on the one that I'm interested in and get a detailed view. So we're only seeing 3 items in this. We can scroll like a normal application. And we can go at the bottom and we can actually approve or reject directly from the detail page. Now we're using a lot of the native mobile application capabilities. So, for example, in approve or reject, if a user knew what they were approving from the summary screen, they could swipe there and approve or reject. Now, by no means is this the fully featured application. Most customers could take this and immediately enable remote users to be able to approve and reject POs. And I think that's the starting point. When people start to understand the power and the efficiency that mobile platforms provide for your organization, that will lead into, oh, I would like PO approvals to link to this. I want information out of that system. And that allows our flexible technology to be able to hook into those other areas. So I've spoken a lot about the technology and the framework today. I do want to talk about our approach for developing applications. At enosiX, we want to provide a quick and low-risk option to our customers to allow us to prove out the technology for a specific use case. That is why we are adopting an agile delivery methodology for our showcases as well as our projects. Our prepackaged smart business objects and front-end templates accelerate the development of customer use cases on the customer's sandbox or QA SAP system. So we've got an agile approach, but why we can do it in such a shortened time span is because of these prepackaged smart business objects and the front-end templates. So with our approach, we can increase the time to value and prove that out in a showcase in your environment for your scenario. And we can optimize and modernize the SAP user interface, leveraging common usability improvements that are provided by a native mobile device. So in most cases, we can provide and build out a showcase for your specific scenario in about 2 to 5 weeks. What we will do and recommend is starting out with a single use case on a single platform and device that we can put into the hands of your users for testing and validation within a short time frame. So that provides the least amount of risk. It's the cheaper option. And then once the test group has approved the showcase, then we'll move on to a real agile development approach for making that application work specifically for your business processes and for your organization. In that additional development phase, we're going to work with you to gather the requirements for those additional features, as well as determining which platforms and device types we need to support. So as you can see in the following timeline, we've simplified the showcase process to make it quicker and less risky to evaluate our new technology. The accelerated timeline is achieved by using our prepackaged smart business objects and front-end templates. And the slide following this is going to give you the exact requirements, but at a high level, all we need for these showcases is sufficient access to a sandbox or QA system that has our SAP certified solution installed. We can get the framework installed in a matter of hours, and we can immediately start the blueprint stage where we work together to finalize the requirements for the initial showcase. During that development phase, we will have one or more conference room pilots to allow the users to touch and feel the work in progress and provide any feedback and comments. So it's not developed in a black box, and at the end of the week, we go, here you go, here's your application, and your users go, well, that's not the way I work. We give you certain, opportunities throughout that process to work with us to get a better showcase application out there that suits your needs and your business processes. So at the end of the design, develop, and test process, the UAT is done within your QA environment, after which we will provide an additional week of support to your team to move the framework and code into your production system. So our requirements for showcases are very simple. We need a sandbox SAP system. Some customers will set up a brand new system. Some will, clone their QA. Some will actually allow us to install on QA. On top of that, we need sufficient access to the system from our development platform as well as from the outside world. Now, whenever we talk to clients about exposing SAP to the outside world, security comes up as a major concern. Now, like the other mobile platforms that exist today, SMP, NetWeaver Gateway, we use the same technology to connect, which means that all the same controls you might be applying to those other systems could be applied to the enosiX framework as well. And there are a number of ways that you can secure this. You can ensure that the mobile devices have a VPN. You can use solutions such as Mobile Iron, which will secure the mobile device's connection into SAP. You can also use HTTP proxies, which ensure the SAP system isn't hit directly, and you can control the communication. And we obviously recommend using an SSL certificate to give you HTTPS communication. As far as deploying the device, we can work with any existing MDM infrastructure, or we can help advise you on putting something in place for your organization. What we don't need is we don't need additional hardware. We don't need additional middleware or trained staff. That means that once we get the software installed, we can start working on your showcase. You don't have to start looking at your budget to find additional hardware, people to install, and people to configure those systems. The other benefit of being installed directly in your ECC system is that we don't require a lot of enhancement packs or upgrades. For NetWeaver Gateway, which we don't need as well, you have to be at a certain enhancement pack or support pack level. We don't require that. We've actually just done an install on a 4.7 system, which shows that our technology is pretty flexible regardless of what version of SAP you're running. We also don't need UI5 as well, or any of those other technologies typically associated with Fiori and SMP. So the final slide from my presentation today is taking a look to the future and where enosiX is going as far as our roadmap. So today, as Chuck mentioned, we have a very strong connection with SAP. We're simplifying the connectivity into SAP for non-SAP developers. But we see the same issue with other major back-end ERP systems. So Oracle EBS, for example. Again, there are APIs to connect to this, but it's very complex and requires EBS experts to be able to help you define and implement that. What we want to do is we want to take the same smart business object approach and apply that to multiple back-end systems. On top of that, today we're using .NET as our front end. I said there are ways of being able to leverage this from third-party systems like Salesforce, but what we want to do is we want to release a new version which has industry-standard APIs. So these are REST-based web services. Pretty much any integration technology can leverage them. Pretty much any development platform can leverage them as well. So we're expanding from just .NET and SAP to opening it up to any development language, any mobile application development platform, as well as any back-end system. The other thing we want to provide is we want to simplify access to multiple systems. So you have a mobile application that may take customer master data out of SAP, but activities and CRM-related data out of Salesforce. What we don't want the mobile developer to have to do is connect to the SAP API here and the Salesforce API there. It means that the mobile applications are tightly coupled to those back-end systems. What we want to provide is data orchestration, which means that the mobile or application or integration developers can access a single unified API, which will then in the back end orchestrate the data from multiple back-end systems. And some of the benefits of that is if you decide to move from Salesforce into SAP CRM or Microsoft Dynamics, most of that could be done within the cloud-based infrastructure that we're going to provide instead of having to modify all your mobile applications. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Chuck and open up the floor for any questions.
Thank you, Charles. I just unmuted everyone, so the floor is open for questions. Hopefully you've seen the power and the flexibility of the enosiX framework. We tried to give you a lot of information in a short period of time. So at this point, we're opening it up to questions. Okay, I just want to remind everyone that this will be available via our website. I will be sending a link to the recording to everyone that signed up to participate. Thank you all for joining, and have a great day.